This is WLOX News Now at 5. Your news starts right now.
Parts of coastal Mississippi seeing the impact of Tropical Storm Barry. You can see this alligator hanging on as the waves crash over in Waveland earlier today.
And just down the road, waves pounding against the seawall there, rolling onto the road even. Tropical Storm Barry is getting closer to shore, but moving slowly. And
we're going to go over to our First Alert weather team for the very latest on what we can expect.
Yeah, the latest National Hurricane Center forecast track for Barry is in as of 4 o'clock this evening, and it has it moving just a little bit faster out of the west-northwest, about 6 miles per hour, and perhaps making landfall within the next 6 to 12 hours on the Louisiana coast sometime right after midnight, and then tracking up into perhaps central Louisiana. Looking at the current satellite and radar, we continue to see the center now just off the coast of Louisiana there. Still a very raggedy storm. Most of the thunderstorm activity is south of the center, but in the last hour or so we have begun to see new rain bands developing, and some of those are beginning to push into South Mississippi. Now, on top of the wind and the rain that we're seeing, we're going to continue to see those high tides, so coastal flooding is going to continue throughout the weekend, kind of like what we've seen already today, especially across Hancock County. Now keep in mind, anytime you see one of those rain bands roll on through, there is a potential for severe weather with that. Looking at the storm surge warnings in effect for Harrison and Hancock counties, those are for the coastal areas. We could be looking at the tides going 3 to 5 feet higher than they typically are. Looking at the severe weather outlook overnight into Saturday with those rain bands, we can't rule out perhaps a few of those isolated tornadoes. Now the rainfall risk overall as we go into tomorrow, the greatest threat for flooding appears to be across Louisiana. However, South Mississippi has to keep a very close eye on those rainfall totals, and we're also going to keep a very close eye on those rivers. And for more on that, let's head over to meteorologist Carrie Duncan. She has the latest on those river stages.
Well, Eric, you know, the water being pushed up is causing some of the rivers that are putting water over the roads. So some of those have been closed, especially at high tide already. I know Cedar Lake was closed north of the interstate earlier today. There was a bit of a reprieve as we are in low tide, but we're headed right back to high tide that will be in the morning hours. So let's take a look at your rivers. The Wolf River at Bells Ferry. This one is going to be rising, cresting on the 16th at 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, the 16th is going to be on Tuesday, so we've got a while before that's going to crest. The 14th is when we expect the crest on the Biloxi River near Lyman. The 14th is on Sunday, and we check out the Chuticabuf at d'Iberville. The 15th, that's on Monday. So that will crest at, say, and actually at 7 p.m. on Sunday at 10 feet. And then we see the West Bowley Creek is expected to crest at 18 feet. So it's going to have a big rise over the next couple of days. It's expected to crest on the 14th. And then we'll see the East Bowley Creek also rising over the weekend, cresting as well on the 14th again, which is Sunday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at 17.5 feet. Now this is going to depend on how much rain we see. We're going to take a closer look at rainfall totals and projections coming up a little bit later.
All right, thanks, Carrie. We continue our team coverage tonight in Harrison County, where Governor Bryant is at the Emergency Operations Center, and Hugh Keaton is there live now with the very latest. Hugh?
That's right, where the people inside here in the Emergency Operations Center inside the Harrison County Courthouse are, it's kind of the calm before the storm as the emergency officials are preparing for what could potentially lie ahead in the next hours and days ahead. And in fact, Governor Phil Bryant is here right now. He's meeting with Rupert Lacey, the EOC director for Harrison County. And in fact, we're going to be talking with the governor in just moments from now about the current conditions and what the plan is for the state going forward over the next couple of days. That interview is coming up here shortly on WLOX News Now at 5 o'clock. But for now, I'm going to send it over to Hancock County, where Tristan Rupert is standing by live for conditions in Hancock County. Tristan.
Hugh, a lot of issues here in Hancock County. While Barry remains out in the Sound and the Gulf as we speak, we're already seeing some of its effects hitting the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Large gust of winds, upwards of 20 miles an hour right now, hitting me. And of course, this boat launch behind me is where we're seeing a lot of waves ricochet up in the sky, upwards of 15 to 20 feet in the air. I was able to talk to EOC Director Brian Adam, and he was able to tell me about what the issues were this morning in Hancock County. He reported that 139 streets were reportedly flooded as of this morning. Most of those now clear thanks to the good work of the fire department and emergency officials, and the fact that they've been lucky in regards to the number of streets that have receded in flooding. It seems like water is going down. That tide gauge now at 2.9. He says the issue is when flooding goes above when high tide comes at 9 p.m. tonight, they expect it to rise back over 3 feet, which is when we're going to see more flooding here in Hancock County. So we're going to have more coverage of this throughout the night, live coverage at the 5 and 6 and 6:30. Until then, reporting in Bay St. Louis, Tristan Rupert, WLOX News Now.
Thanks, Tristan. Floodwater from Tropical Storm Barry may come at any time, and that's when swiftwater rescue operations must be ready.
That flooding could be anywhere and could be everywhere. Calls for help may likely be in neighborhoods like one in the Pebble Creek community in Gulfport, where in 2017 a swiftwater rescue had to be deployed to get people to safety. It's prone to flooding. In fact, there are signs posted along the road. Today, residents were preparing as much as they could for what this storm may bring. Harrison County Fire Chief Pat Sullivan says it will take a joint effort to help those in need.
We're bringing in extra personnel. We're staffing up for this. We're also requesting swiftwater teams through the state emergency management, and we're standing up all of our swiftwater assets that we have on the coast.
Sullivan implores that people heed warning signs meant to keep them safe. And stay with us for the very latest on Tropical Storm Barry. Don't forget to download our WLOX First Alert weather app. We'll be right back.